This is Iron Man, the Armored Avenger, Legend Series, Marvel's Initiative, 6-inch War Machine. Right here in the center. The figure is part of the second wave of the 2011 Iron Man Armored Avenger Legend Series 6-inch figures. And as you can see behind him, in the background are the rest of the figures in the wave. So we'll do a review one at a time of each of the figures. First one I wanted to do was really this figure. This was the one that I was really looking forward to in this entire wave. The figure is fantastic. It's got some recycled bits and pieces here and there, but overall, the whole concept of this figure was supposed to be a new mold. And if you're not familiar with the character, there was a time when James Rhodes, or Rhodey, worked for a company called the Initiative, and he was the drill sergeant or the drill instructor for newly registered superpowered entities at Camp Hammond, and he was the drill instructor, as it were, and this was his armor. Anyway, if you want to know more about that, there is a synopsis of that storyline if you pick up the first issue of Iron Man 2.0, which is out. It just went out this month, March, in your comic shops, and they've included like a .1 summary of the War Machine storyline, all of what's happened with the War Machine character, and obviously the Iron Man 2.0 comic book is the new War Machine comic book, so pick that one up if you're interested in the stories of War Machine. This one's a not too bad of a figure, but before we begin, before I forget, in case if anyone hasn't figured it out, the packaging is exactly the same as the first wave. As you can see, Marvel's Initiative War Machine. And at the back, the rest of the assortment and some neat artwork. So, that's that. It's a great sculpt. The figure comes with a bunch of new molded accessories, like right here. A missile rack, a hose, cannon, and another hose, as well as a booger missile, which you can actually put here. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, I thought it just went in and just. Oh, I didn't know the whole barrel went back and it did fire. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, good job, Hasbro. Before we start discussing more details about the figure, you're probably wondering why this figure looks increasingly or surprisingly very familiar. And you're saying, like, I've seen this figure sometime in the past. Well, you're not imagining things. If you have this figure, this is a figure from the first movie toy line. This is the stealth armor. As you can see, they share the same legs, feet, thigh, lower leg, even the fin is the same, the leg and the hips, as well as the arms and fists, head obviously. What they've done with this figure is they've remolded the entire upper torso and lower torso. Even the side panels here have been changed. Obviously, the shoulder guards have been modified as well, but it shares the same mold as the arm. And they've attached these forearm guards or armor plating onto the forearms. But the limbs are essentially the same as this one, so, you know. Articulation remains the same. It's got a it's a double hinge neck actually. There's a swivel and an upward and downward hinge. So there's a likeness to a ball joint, but only better because you can look up more naturally. He's got a ball jointed upper torso, ball hinge shoulders, bicep swivel, double hinged elbows, ball hinge wrists, ball hinge hips, thigh swivel, double hinged knees, and a ball jointed ankle. It should have been a ball hinge, but they made it into a ball joint because it didn't change the mold. So very, very cool. Paint wise, the entire concept and an idea, I think the whole concept of the paint or the paint design for this figure was really spot on. I couldn't agree more with the decision to make it look this way. And they even painted the forearms and the guns with sort of like illumination from these ports, like they're sort of lit up in this eerie green moss type of lighting. So that's very cool. Quality wise, there are bits and pieces that have been painted in a shoddy manner. Particularly the white paint. That's really my only gripe about this figure. As you can see in the face, let's see if you can look at that. There's some jagged lines on the side and right there. Not a full-on accurate paint. As you can see there, the white has been sort of moved a millimeter to the left side of the face. But the eyes have been painted very well. I have no problem with that. The green and black paint, they're just great. But the white paint apps, they're just a little bit lacking. Like for instance, in this part of the leg, it's a little bit thin. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit thinning out onto where the wiring should be, as well as here. As you can see right there on his ass. Some paint quality issues here and there, but overall paint apps are pretty decent on this one. Just make sure you try and pick one with the best one. The best gauge of how the paint apps are going to look all over the figure is really the face. If you're happy with the face, then chances are you're going to be happy with most of the figure. So great figure, fantastic new mold, really the best in my opinion of this entire wave. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 overall, especially for appeal. The mold itself executed very well. Paint apps, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Really, just because the white is just so obviously imperfect. But overall, it's great. Conceptually, the paint, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. But execution-wise, it's just a 7. So overall, the figure gets a 9 out of 10 for me. So very nice, very cool. If you can find this on shelves, go ahead and pick this one up. It's a no-brainer. If you're big fans of Iron Man and War Machine, a must-have figure. So there you go. I hope this video review has been sort of informative and has shed some insights, helpful insights for you guys who are actually thinking about getting this figure. There you go. The Iron Man, Armored Avenger, Legend Series, Marvel's Initiative, War Machine. Thanks for watching.